All right, let's all reflect on the Goldman Sachs downgrades of AMD at 250. Then they reiterated their downgrade at 4. Then when the stock broke 5, they reiterated their sell recommendation at 5. What did the stock proceed to do? Go to 14. Now the stock's at 10 bucks. Were they right or were they wrong? Does anybody care? Does Goldman Sachs care? The only person that cared was the guy that was short 5 million shares of AMD at $1.80, who was getting his ass kicked at 250, and then he shorted more at 250, and then when the stock was at 4, he called his friend over at Goldman Sachs. Hey, can you do me a favor? I'll give you 100 grand. Can you do me a favor and just downgrade the AMD one more time so I can get the hell out of this position because it looks like it's about to go up? Okay, cool. Then he goes and shorts more AMD, and then a day and a half later, Goldman Sachs puts another sell recommendation on AMD. It finally gets the effect that they were looking for. The stock gaps back down 20 or 30, whatever it was that day, down to like 18%. His friend covers the position. Everybody's happy. Did Goldman Sachs lose any credibility on their bad call on AMD? No. Do you think Goldman Sachs cares about what happened with AMD? Not at all. You think that analyst got paid under the table cares? He's the only one that cares, and the guy that paid him the 100 grand to get out of that position. So what's happening with VRX? Okay, well, first of all, if you're in from 1250, 1385, 14 and a quarter, 1550, 1650, how about the 1750 calls? 18s, 19s, maybe brought it at 20, you're still up. The stock's down a whopping 92 cents after a monster run. What do you think's going to happen? Remember, it's not the Dow Jones. Only the Dow Jones can go up every day without any problem whatsoever. Again, that's why your main position should be the Dow Jones. Keep rolling into the higher call strikes. Keep rolling into your call spreads. Because the Dow Jones can't be affected by a paid-off analyst. If JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs were to come out and say we think the Dow Jones is about to go down 8%, guess what, kids? Maybe it'll be down 30 points, and then maybe it wouldn't be. Probably wouldn't be affected whatsoever. But when one analyst comes out and talks about one specific stock that has just gone up from $14 to 22, and somebody says maybe it's a good time to take something off the table, so you get a little bit of a gap down in the morning. Where does it end up? I don't know. If it goes green, you probably want to buy more. If it can't get through 21.95 today, maybe we'll look to take some off the table. Remember, we sold the April 17s. We sold the April 20s. You made money in the stock already last week. You're not going to be able to find an option play for 20 cents to go to $1.50 in a day, unless one of those arises again in VRX 2 or 3 months from now. The VRX main money, even though I think the stock can get into the 25, 27, possibly 36 range over the next 18 months, the main money was made on Friday last week on the $18 calls and the 18.15 calls and the 19 calls and the April 17s and the April 18s and the April 20s. So right now, this is all house money. So if you bought VRX finally at 22, hoping it goes to 27, remember, now you're an investor. You're a swing trader. So if you're getting affected by a 90-cent pullback here on a Thursday morning because some crooked, awful analyst who knows nothing more than you, knows nothing more than me, knows nothing at all. Nobody knows anything about anything. The only people that do know are the people that are paid off to make things happen, to realize things happening. Understand? That's why the stock market's manipulated. Everything you see here is manipulated. Gold manipulated, silver manipulated, oil manipulated. Do you think that the people that control oil, the cartels, don't position themselves a certain way before they make certain announcements? Do you think that the government's not controlling the Dow Jones Industrial Average? Why do you think it goes up every day? The government owns it. And when they decide it's time to take some profit to pay for stuff, because again, if it's all paper profits, then nobody's making money. Okay, I think the Dow goes to 40,000 within the next 6 years. Do we get there without a hiccup somewhere along the way? Maybe we just go up every day for the next 6 years, which would actually take us to about 65,000, 70,000 at this pace. Can we sustain this pace? Why not? All of this is fake. If you accept the fact that none of this is real, the only thing that's real are algorithms. And that's why when you come and hang with us, I show you how certain lines and resistance and support, you'll see when the algorithms kick in. Volume weighted average price, big part of it. But when you get VWAP and you get a reversal, the algos kick in. If then statements. If this stock breaks this, then this should happen. That's what trading is all about. And manipulation of analysts. These guys know nothing. They know nothing. Remember this, if you're ever thinking an analyst knows more than you. Did anybody call? There was maybe 7 people on earth that called for the 2008, 2009 end of capitalism. All those analysts were rah, rah, rah. We never go down. Here we go. Everything's fine. On the way down, everything's fine. On the way down, everything's fine. On the way down, everything's fine. Did anyone ever change their tune? Absolutely not. As Lehman was going out of business in Bear Stearns, people were saying, have no fear. So they know nothing. Nobody knows anything. You want to day trade looking at some squiggly lines? Red line, green line, 1, 2, 3? You want to do that? You want to try to make a little bit of money on momentum stocks like an XNET breaking 1650? I would say 80% of the time when you're trading momentum stocks, if they break a half number and a whole number, you get paid. What does that mean? If you sit here and stare at the screen all day, and you've got a stock like Riot or HMNY or pick one, and they get through a half number or a whole number, generally you're going to get usually another 12 to 25 cents out of that. So right there, in a nutshell, boom, that's trading. You like VRX, right? It was getting smoked the other day, right? At the open. Why were we shorting the stock that we love? Because it opened up strong, spiked, and then rolled over and broke the opening price range. That's a short. The algos know that. We know that. Everybody knows that. So VRX became a short yesterday. But then when it turned back around and broke back above that certain range, I think it was at 21 and change, whatever it was, it became another buy again. And again, it all comes down to whether or not you have confidence in whether these charts really do mean anything at all, or nothing means anything. It's all random, and we try to make the best out of a psychotic situation. Do I think Twitter can go to $30 a share? Sure. Does it matter whether the stock rolls back over? If it breaks under a certain level, chances are Twitter's not going to go to 30. If it breaks over 22.50 with some volume, chances are it's going to go to 25. It's all about the charts, the volume, the environment, and a laundry list of other things. But really, if you're a short-term investor, I'm talking about 20 seconds, 30 seconds, people are already making money in VRX. Why? Because it broke 21. And people know when stocks break whole numbers, generally they go higher. So we already got some guys here, $21 buyers, that are sitting here with a 16-cent profit. I know that's not a lot of money. But if you bought 1,000 shares of VRX right at the beginning of this sell-off right here, $21 if you bought it. Not saying I did this. Somebody else just said they did. So let's say you bought 1,000 shares. Okay? It's 9:13 in the morning. This is day trading. Okay? You bought 1,000 shares of VRX at 21. Now it's trading at 21.16. You can sell it for $160 profit. Some people go to work on a train, on a bus, get yelled at, have to deal with coworkers and birthday parties and the cold, getting dressed, taking showers, mingling at the water cooler, all for that $160. And then they have to come home on the train, in the cold, eat dinner, do that whole thing again, and then go back out. Here, some guys are making $160 on this trade within 10 minutes, not leaving their home, not having to deal with bosses, not having to deal with any of that stuff. So there's the positives, and the negatives are obviously you can lose money every day and go completely batshit insane and then you look at the Dow Jones, and the Dow Jones goes up every day. That's the situation that I'm in. I find I want to do less day trading, even though I could find ideas. For me, I'm getting old. I don't need this. I'm already angry enough. I'm angry enough at society. My kids want to know if I truly am a vigilante. Do I go out at night kidnapping people? Because I've said that shit out loud. Now it's 21.22 bid. So that's $220 now that this guy's up on his 1,000 shares of VRX. That's another payday. That's a day where he doesn't have to work now for a living. Now he's just done this before even the open. Okay? 21.22 bid. Fantastic. So anyway, I'm angry enough. But doesn't mean, again, I do one trade a day sometimes none. I like watching the Dow Jones go up every day. That's what I do now for a living. I watch the Dow Jones go up. And if I choose to find a trade that meets this criteria, I come in every day with no desire to trade whatsoever. The market goes up every single day. Every single day. If you've got $1 million and you put $200,000 into the Dow Jones, you probably didn't have to work for the last 7 or 8 years. Why work? But if you're getting started, you're 21, you're 22 years old, you want to do this as maybe a hobby, I can consistently show you how to find 3 or 4 ideas every day that you'll probably make profit on 80% of the time. But it comes down to being disciplined. It comes down to being bored. This is not exciting. Excitement, frustration. Why is it frustrating? Because if you do a trade today, let's say it be Twitter, for instance, and you bought Twitter the other day. Twitter's pulling back to 22.05. Maybe I should buy it right here. And you bought it at 22.05, and you put a stop on it, and you got stopped out at 21.90, and you lost $150, right? So a week from now, when Twitter's back to 22.05 or 22.50, you have to say to yourself, again, this is why I hate this, because the market goes up every day. Even taking a $2 loss, $2 out of my pocket, $50 out, $100 out of my pocket on a stock that 2 days later is going to be higher is, to me, annoying at this point. But if you're a day trader, that's what you got to deal with. That's the life you lead. And if you got 20 grand in an account or 30 grand in an account, and that's what you want to do, be prepared to be frustrated. That's what I'm saying. It's not impossible to do, but be prepared to be angry. Be prepared to be frustrated. Be prepared to be annoyed, and be prepared to stay disciplined, because one wrong move and it all goes bye-bye. I've seen it a million times. One wrong move, like loading up on VRX because you're pissed that you didn't buy it at 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and you say, fuck this, now I'm going to get crazy with this bitch, and you're going to load up at 22 yesterday, and now you're walking in thinking your life might be over. That's how another way people fail. There's a million ways to fail, 2 or 3 ways to succeed, and it's really, really hard. I forgot what else I wanted to say, but yeah. Oh, the same thing with Square. I love the people on StockTwits who think I'm a basher. I got 100 shares left. I am not a basher. I'm a realist. It's over. It's been over and continues to be over. Okay? We were loving it at 12.50. Nobody cared. 15, yes. Loving it. 15 probably gets us 17.50. Got to 17.50. Then it got to 20. We started selling a little bit of it. Remember? Square at 20 bucks. Then at 25, we were like, oh my God, why did I sell any of this at 20? Then at 27.50, the numbers were going to come out. I was like, oh man, I'm going to get out of most of this. And then in the 30s, I'm thinking, what the hell's going on here? This thing's going to 50. I wound up buying it again. So stock I sold at 17s and 20s, I'm back in at 30, bringing my cost average way up. And then the hoopla of but Bitcoin and blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing about Square. If it was Bitcoin related, why isn't it Bitcoin related anymore? The stock is busted. The stock is broken. What do I mean? Have you noticed that every time SQ has a green moment, at the end of the day it ends red? That means there's more sellers than buyers. That's it. It's a busted stock right now. And if you look at the option prices, what you were paying, and I know when the stock was going up, if you looked at a $50 call going out 2 months, they were like huge premium. Now there's no premium whatsoever, so the option players are thinking this stock is dead, which tells me they're probably right. This stock is going to go back to what it used to do, is nothing. It would sit around and do nothing. It's a credit card processing company that I thought was cool because you could take that little device, slap it onto an iPod, iPod, whatever, and make yourself a business. And I thought that was awesome. But at $50, if you piled in at $50, you might not see $50 on this stock. I won't say ever, but you might be waiting a long, long, long time. Sorry, I didn't tell you to buy it at 50. Like I didn't tell you to pile in to Alibaba on the earnings day in the pre-market while I was selling out of it. Stock was up 100 points for the year, kids. Do I still think Alibaba goes to 250? Absolutely. When does that happen? Could be a year from now. This stock could sit here between 167 and 187 for 6 months. And then when it breaks out, it'll go up 4 points, 8 points, 9 points, 16 points. And next thing you know, it'll be $300. That's how the market works. Just when you start hating on something and you're about to give up, boom, it goes sky high. Just when you're at the most confident and feeling you're feeling super about it, that's when it rolls over and dies. That's what happens. Good luck, my friends. Good luck. If you want to squeak it out a little bit, like here, if you didn't sell your VRX at 21.2016 or 21.22 now you're thinking, man, I should have taken that profit. Boom. Easy come, easy go.